So Brandon, I have a very important question. I've made bestseller twice in 1 week. Has that happened to you?
I'm not a bestseller. I don't have that many subscribers. I've been on the rising list. I've been as high as 21 on the rising list, but I don't have
like rising bestseller. That's never happened.
rising. Well, like it changes every day. I get like one day I was at 21, and of course the next day, it goes down to whatever,
Well, but
50
that's
something.
That's to whatever topic. Like,
yeah,
there's the topics, and then there's the new bestseller list. And
I don't know about that one.
That's happened to me twice, and I don't get why. What the fuck did I do to deserve that? Hi, Char Sundust, by the way. Hi, Annette from New York. Welcome to Wendy the Druid.
New bestsellers list.
Yeah. So I look here. I'll send you the link. There's a list called new bestsellers. I've hit it twice in 1 week, and I want to understand why the fuck that happened. So if you figure out why the fuck that happens, please share.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, there's a leaderboard for that. I don't get why because I've already been a bestseller once. It stands to reason I can't fucking do it again.
Well, I don't understand how some people can be on the rising in whatever category list and they're on the bestsellers list. How can they be on two lists? That's greedy. They're not leaving room for everybody else.
Oh, Craigers, by the way, will you start spamming the collective link if you're going to spam your 5,000 links in the live, because and then just reference the publication you're talking about in the collective link. You listen to Sarah. Don't boss my ass around, okay? Oh, that's right. Great. We could depend on Sarah for the collective link now.
You can always depend on a woman.
I mean, anyway, so yeah, I'm actively researching why the fuck that happens now. So, do you want to talk about hell? Did you read my article about hell, by the way?
Hell?
Yeah.
Well, hell. Oh, hell. I don't, no, I didn't read your article about hell.
Okay.
When did that come out?
I wrote this morning. I decided to all the Christians. And here's the funny thing. I posted it into Jeff's daily thread, and Jeff and I went back and forth in the comments. Then Jeff and I went and had a separate conversation entirely. And, he's Jewish, by the way, right?
Who?
He's literally told me, I think you understand Judaic better than I do, and I'm Jewish.
Makes sense.
Anyway, all right, so Christians love to use hell to guilt people.
Oh yeah,
Don't do this.
I'm familiar with that.
If you don't, well, here you go. I'm gonna defeat your sensibilities as a Pentecostally raised child, Brandon. Get ready. Purely from the Tanakhian perspective. So just the Tanakh, which is essentially the Old Testament with extra lateral text, like the Talmud and those others. Anyway, so just from that body of text, hell doesn't exist. The Judaic concept of hell is called Sheol. And you know who goes there? Everybody when they die. Good, bad, right, wrong, indifferent, gay, who the fuck ever. Sheol. And the only thing that Sheol is a place where the undead go and you no longer have a relationship with God. Your relationship with God is over at that point. That's it. That's all there is to it. And that's it. So, like, a very common misconception by Christians is that Christians will tell people that Jewish people don't believe in going to heaven. The Jewish people just believe when you die, that's it, you disappear, and that's it. That's actually bullshit. You go to the land of the undead, Sheol, and that's it. And so that's where you go. So this fire and brimstone and eternal suffering bullshit, Jewish people don't believe that. So 2/3 of the book mention nothing, iteratively nothing about there being a hot place where, oh, and I am not going to have a Tesla person join the chat. That's not going to happen. So Tesla community is getting blocked. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a spam bot. So we're gonna block that person. I don't. Oh, no person found. Block. Goodbye. Okay. No fucking spam bots in my lives. God damn it, I'm unhappy. All right. Anyway, so back to this whole hell concept. So, why do Christians portray this concept of eternal suffering? Well, here's why. In the time of the biblical writing, Rome pretty much ran the whole show. And to resist Roman influence, early Christian writers post the biblical texts wrote about where the truly wicked would go. And yeah, Edward's right. It was all about control. And so,
well, that's what I was thinking. I mean, they've got to do something to separate themselves from the bad people who they consider the sinners.
Right. Well, here's the problem. In the Greek text, the New Testament Greek text, herefore, whenever I say the Greek text, I'm talking about this little bit itty bitty book, or this little bitty itty bitty portion of the book. And when I say the Hebrew text, I'm talking about the larger shit. You could probably figure that out. But anyway, so here's the problem. So from the Greek text, well, the first thing they talk about is when you die, it's annihilation. You dematerialize, that's it, you're dead, you're gone, game over. A little bit later, however, Paul, like, sort of touches on this idea of temporary conscious torment that's then followed by you dematerialize, and then that's it, you're dead. John of Patmos, which, by the way, I want to reiterate, John of Patmos and John the Disciple and John the Baptist were not the same fucking person, and people that tell you they are, they're fucking idiots. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So he was the guy that said, okay, there has to be eternal, constant torment. Oh, hi, Ellie Leonard. Thank you for joining. Who's another author and probably writes way fucking better than I do. Regardless, John of Patmos is the person who, like a fire of this, that, the other. And I want to be clear from Ellie, I'm just going to say, like, there are people here who will confirm my writing sucks. Don't read it. It's a piece of shit. Don't ever read any of the publication. I'm not kidding. And anyone that tells you, Ellie, that you should read my stuff, they're lying. Don't believe them. No, really, I'm serious. No, see, she's doing it. That one right there, this one right here. Don't listen to her. Don't. It's not right. Okay. So.
Oh, she's unstable. You can't
she's
listen to her.
That's already true. So, John of Patmos is the person who, and here's the thing. And this is another thing, and I'm going to write another story about this to explain it to people. In the book of Revelation, talk about the great beast with the 7 heads and the red horse sitting on top of it. Do you know who that is?
Trump?
No.
Oh.
The book of Revelation is apocalyptic literature that, will you fucking quit it? Is apocalyptic literature that was literally talking about the time. And that's it. So the 7-headed serpent with the great red whore on top of it, standing in the lake of fire, was all about Nero. And there are very clear delineated references talking about why it was the Catholic Church or why it was the Romans and ultimately the Catholics. There are, Lisa, I mean, really. I'm just trying to guide Ellie right so that, yeah, exactly, Edward. Drug-induced, alcohol-induced, whatever. Too much wine that night, who the fuck knows? But anyway, so that's why the eternal suffering shit is bullshit. It's complete and total bullshit. And so, Jesuit teaching teaches us he inconsistently used all 3 of those references. So Matthew's 10th chapter, he supports annihilation. Kai me phobia ste apato apkotanakan to sema, which basically says, and do not fear those who kill the body cannot kill the soul because you become completely, yeah, Ellie, that's, oh my God. I want to find LaHaye and I want to strangle that motherfucker for ever writing those goddamn books, because as a biblically educated person, I read those books and then I wanted to find him and strangle him. What the fuck is wrong with you writing that shit? It's a piece of shit. A huge piece of shit. Yeah, right, Ellie. Like the Jenkins guys around, I can still find him, but I don't know if you know Ellie, but I'm a trans woman, so I can't condone violence anymore. That's what this one's for. So Jesus says there's annihilation, but then later, he in the book of Luke he references, well, but then there's eternal suffering, and so here's the beautiful thing about it: Paul does not mention it at all. No lake of fire, no eternal suffering, no pitchforky dude with horns and a tail and probably a very large penis. Just gonna say, probably a very large penis. Paul doesn't mention it at all. So the next occurring time that we see this in the text doesn't happen actually in the text. Augustine of Hippo in the 3rd century is the guy that systemizes the whole hell concept. And then Aquinas did it again in 1200, developing the idea of Summa Theologica. So if you read Summa Theologica, that goes into all the hellfire and you're going to suffer and all this other bullshit. So why do Christians do it? Why do Christians use that vehicle? 3 reasons. Well, really 4 reasons. Manufacture existential terror, because if you do that, you can control the people that you're attempting to lead. You create an entirely separate artificial moral category that will align with whatever politics you need, and as a result, continue to control people. And then that allows you to create divine mandates that, again, continue to further control people. And then anybody that dissents can just be pointed the finger at and shamed. So if people resist it, then you can shame the fuck out of them and say, look at that sinner. Well, you know what? which is where I will say, like, if hell really is a place and heaven is really a place, I don't want to go to heaven. You think Hendrix is in heaven? Fuck no. You think Stevie Ray Vaughan's in heaven? Definitely not. Do you think Albert Einstein is in heaven? I severely doubt it. There's no way. People I want to hang out with are in the fucking fiery ass place, not this. By the way, and then two, how Christians categorize heaven? That has to be the most painful fucking eternal existence ever, because literally you go up there and you are faced with God and worshiping God 100% of the time, and you don't have a choice. That would cause me to want to stick a gun in my mouth and pull the trigger multiple times in an attempt to send me back to the other place. Please, I want to go back to the other place. I'm tired of eternal peace and happiness. I don't want to be here anymore. So, the iterative of why hell exists is to guilt people and control them. That's why it exists. And that's why Christians use it. It's just a form of manipulation and control. It's not anything else. And I know that you probably know that because it's been thrown at you, I don't know how many different times. I'm going to guess a few hundred.
Yeah, I went on a lot of trips, a lot of guilt trips. Thrown in the windowless van and taken to Guiltville.
Wait. You got thrown into a windowless van?
Metaphorically speaking.
Oh, metaphorically speaking. I was worried. Because I have a sibling that happened to in real life.
Oh.
So.
No.
But that was for another problem, not a church problem.
Right.
That was for this problem. Thank you, Lisa, for scheduling ahead. I tell Nick, No, I'm drinking fucking LaCroix. I am a queer woman. I drink LaCroix.
I don't know if I've ever had that.
Doesn't it have something in it that's supposed to be not good for you?
What, LaCroix?
Yeah, like some kind of additive? Or I don't know. It's not vegan, maybe? I don't know. Someone's
carbonated water and naturally essenced, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody pronounce that word. What is that word?
LaCroix.
LaCroix.
No, it's LaCroix. And LaCroix. Wait, is that a French thing? Fuck, I hate the goddamn French.
I know that it is French.
If anybody is French, I apologize way in advance. I hate the fucking I hate the fucking French. Go on, Brandon. Go on, Brandon. Ask me why I don't like the French.
Why don't you like the French?
Oh, it's funny you should ask that, Brandon, because here's why I don't like the fucking French. Get this. Okay, so I went to Germany. I'm fluent in German, by the way, amongst other languages. And so I was in Stuttgart. I went to McDonald's, walked over to the counter, and how about ein Hamburger und etwas zu eines ordern Pommes frites. Because that's what the menu said, and I didn't make an obvious connection. And the girl looked at me, "Oh, you want French fries?" And I went, "Meine auf Deutsch ist große, verstehen Sie, richtig?" And she was like, "Yeah, but you said pommes frites. That's not how it's pronounced." And I said, "Why not?" And she said, "Because in Germany we say pommes frites." And I'm like, "This is Germany. It's not France. Why are you using the French pronunciation for that word? That's what we do in Germany." I hate the French. Now, after that, I already sort of disliked the French. And so Astrid, I was in Stuttgart. Charlie's here. Don't anybody talk about Charlie because Charlie's my kid. And if you badmouth Charlie, I'm going to get it later from her mom because I'm also her mom. Anyway, so here's the thing. Are either of you fans of Joan of Arc? Joan of Arc
Fans?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. No, she's all right. I don't know.
Right, okay. She liberates half the country from a foreign power. And what do the French do? They exile her to England to have her burnt at the stake for being a witch. Now, Napoleon. He's a Frenchman. He conquers half of Europe. What do the French do? They exile him to an island and say, don't do that. What does he do? He escapes the island, conquers half of Europe again. What do they do? Bad Napoleon. Stop. Don't do that. So, when you ask a French person who the greatest Frenchman is, it's not Louis the 18th. It's not any of the kings. It's not Joan of Arc. It's not Napoleon. It's none of those people. The greatest Frenchman to live, according to the French, is Charles de Gaulle. And then I laugh about that and I say, oh, is that because he could run and swim faster than any other Frenchman, like a complete coward, where he went to the English to beg them to help him liberate his country back from Germany? After that, I lost eternal respect for the French.
Well, they probably don't like you much either because you're American.
You know what? That's not fair.
I mean, it's true, though, probably, right?
Fair. That's not fair. But I will say, I've toured the French countryside, and I love the French countryside. And so, as long as you stay out of Paris, France is okay.
That's what I've heard too.
I mean, I spent like a week in the Nantes region, and I was doing the hostel run because I was hiking down the west coast of Europe. And one night I spent in a hostel, which was a monastery of a bunch of monks that all took vows of silence except for the rector. And we sat down at this big fucking table, and I had like a tankard that was like this big, and they brought out this bread that was drenched in butter and cheese and shit, and it was great. And then they filled up the tankard all the way with a substance that I later found out was monastery brewed beer, and I got so viscerally drunk that I don't remember what happened the rest of the night. I might have had a religious experience, and I'm not entirely fucking sure. Yeah, I knew Aaron was going to say food porn, so.
How do they all drink that and stay silent?
Exactly. I don't know. It's a good fucking question. Okay. Now you get to talk for 5 minutes, Brandon. I've monologued.
Me? Oh dear. I'm put on the spot. What shall I say? Oh.
Because I'm just going to tell you, I'm working with Sarah. We're going to interview you again in like a week.
Oh yeah. You're going to do what? Interview me?
Yeah. Sarah and I are going to interview you in a week.
In a week?
Yes, in a week.
I thought our sessions were going to be about trauma or something like that.
Oh, no. That's like Tuesday or Wednesday. We're going to talk about trauma.
Oh.
Hey, person. Hi, person. There's food at the door, person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Food at the door? What are you having?
I'm having a smoothie because I like to have fluid in my mouth a lot.
Well,
it's viscous and thick and delicious.
I haven't had any of that for a while.
Oh, please.
I haven't. I've been on I've been on different dating apps, and I'm talking to a couple different people, and I don't know. It just doesn't ever seem to. Well, I went. All right. Let me tell you about this.
I'm all ears.
I talked about this in my podcast last week or the week before. I don't know. So I go on Grindr. This guy, I don't remember who contacted who first or whatever, but he seemed decent. He was fairly cute, at least from his picture and everything. And he was like, hey, do you want to come over? I'm hanging out with a friend of mine. And okay, that's probably flag number one. I'm like, because he probably sounds like he probably wants a threesome or something like that. I'm not completely against a threesome, but I don't know what this other guy looks like. I don't know who either of them are really. But so he's like, oh, you can come over and hang out. But the guy, the other guy, his friend is a little older. And I'm like, well, I don't usually go for older guys, and I didn't know what he looked like or anything. I'm superficial, I don't want to have sex with some, anyway, I won't go into all that detail, but I'd want to see him first, And so I was like, well, I'm not going to have sex. I'll just go and hang out. And he's like, oh yeah, no pressure. You just come and see how things go or whatever. Like, well, things are going to go not in the sexual way. I'm just telling you that we're not going to have sex. I'll go and hang out though. Cause I thought, sometimes I probably need to go and make friends with other gay guys, just friends or whatever. So I go, he lives out, I kind of live out in the middle of nowhere, but he really lives out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, I was going down this road and everything out, and he tells me, so the guy lives in a church. That was probably flag number 2.
Okay.
It's not being used as a church now, but it is a church building. It used to be a church, and it still looks like a church from the outside,
I'm very worried about you right now.
On the way, I texted my friend and said, okay, I just want to let you know I'm going to this place to meet this guy, and I just wanted somebody to know. So I go and pull up to this church, and there's several cars outside, and I'm like, oh great, the congregation is here. I'm probably walking into some gay intervention or something like that, So I pull up, and there's the guy that I talked to, I recognized him from the picture. And then there's this other guy, and he's a little older and bigger guy, and I'm like, oh, is that his friend he was talking about? I don't know. So no, but he's not. This is some other guy. So I go in, and you've seen Hoarders, I suppose, right?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
So I go in, and I don't know where. I mean, I have to follow them because there's just it's the most cluttered. There's just stuff everywhere. There's a path, I follow them, and there's a dog. A dog comes up to me, and I'm like, it was a friendly dog, so it was fine. But I go around this corner, and there's this woman there. She's sitting on the couch, and she's watching this. They have this projector they're watching something on TV, but it's like a projector on the wall of the church. And I'm like, well, who the hell is this? I didn't know all these people were going to be here, And so she's like, oh, the dog's fine, here, come here. And she's got this bag. I was like, what is she going to get? What is this? Oh, well, if it's like gummies or something, okay, that's fine, I guess. No, it's dog treats. So she gives us both dog treats to give the dog. And she's like, tell him no bite, or like, oh, yeah, no bite. Oh my God. So then we go around oh, sorry, what?
Why did you not leave right now?
Well, I had driven all the way out there, and I thought it might be kind of rude just to turn around and leave. I thought they
Okay.
might come after me.
Okay, just continue.
So
I just had to ask.
we go around the corner, and they're into this. It's not even a room. There's this partition on rollers, and we go into this area, and it's horribly messy. And there's a bed there though, and I sat in the only place that I could sit. There was a chair that didn't have a whole lot on it, so I could sit there. And there's this like weight machine and just clothes and stuff everywhere. And this is trash can that is just mounded with empty soda cans. It's like it was cream soda and like the cheaper version of Dr. Pepper. The cheap version. Those like Mountain Lightning or whatever. Dr. Thunder or the cheap whatever that brand is. It's just mounded with empty soda cans and just clothes and trash everywhere. But the other guy he was talking about, his friend, apparently he was in the shower. So we just sit there and talk for a little bit, and the guy's still in the shower or whatever in the bathroom. And then the other guy that was there, the first guy that I met, whoever he was, he was married to the woman in the sitting on the couch. They were a married couple. I don't know who they were. I don't know what kind of relationship they had with anybody else, but maybe they were squatters or something. I don't know, because they were like, I don't. Just this place was just ridiculous. And then so the guy was like, "Here, come here. I want to show you something." And I was like, "Oh, great. What does he want to show me?" So then he takes us into the sanctuary, what used to be the sanctuary, I guess. And it was just as messy as the rest of it. There was a pool table that was mounted with a bunch of junk. There was a cat sitting on a chair there. I went over and pet the cat because, I like cats. There was a mattress on the floor. I guess that was the couple's bedroom or whatever. It was. And then there's just junk everywhere else. And it's like, oh, okay. And then he just wanted to show us the sanctuary, I guess. Whatever. So then we go back in the room, and the guy's still in the shower, and I was just kind of sitting there, and the other guy that invited me over, he's like, he turned on his iPad or whatever, and turned on Black Mirror, the episode. Do you ever see Black Mirror?
Oh yeah, love that show.
Well, he turned on the episode with Miley Cyrus in it. I had already seen that one, but it was just for background noise or whatever while we were just chatting. I was kind of looking at my watch a couple times, and he was like, "Oh, I understand if you need to go." I was like, "Yeah, it's getting kind of late. Maybe I should have come earlier or whatever." And the guy is still in the bathroom or the shower or whatever. I don't know what he's doing. I didn't care. I was like, okay, well, yeah, I better go. And then so I go out. And the guy before the guy, the husband of the woman, he's like, "Did you lock your car?" I was like, yeah. He's like, "Well, I don't trust these people around here." I'm like, "Oh, that's great. I'm glad to hear that." So I was like, "Okay, see you. Yeah, see you later." Got into my car and I headed out of there. I was like, oh, on the way there, I almost hit a deer. And then I was going through this little podunk town and I almost hit a cat. I was like, these are signs that I should have turned around and headed back. But he told me to text him when I got back. Well, message him because I didn't give him my number. But I texted him on Grindr. I was like, "Yeah, I'm home. I made it. No, didn't hit any deer or whatever." And he's like, "Oh, that's great." And I was like, "Block? No."
This
No
sounds like
more of that.
This sounds like John Johnson all over again for me. I'll tell you the story of John Johnson. It's not happy. It literally is not happy.
Was it is it a a dating app story.
Oh yeah, it's a dating app story.
Mm.
But if I tell it, like Aaron will never see me the same way again, and it'll suck. So fine, fuck it, I don't care. So a year into my transition, I was still dealing with, because I had dated guys before. I did not have very successful guy dating experiences. One of them involved somebody who sent me to the ER one night for a fissure. You know how that plays out, right? Yeah, not a fun experience. So anyway, I was still trying to work out that, am I into this? Am I not? I don't know. Anyway, so I did the same thing. I was on Grindr, and I was identifying as a trans person on Grindr. So I did my makeup really good, and I was wearing my earpiece and everything. And so this guy hit me up, and he looked like a guy on the front of GQ, and talked with him back and forth. Lives in Buckhead, which is that's like the the well-to-do area, one of the well-to-do areas of Atlanta. And so I was like, and he was over at Park Place, which was the complex that my aunt, who also lives in Atlanta, was the property manager of. And so I called her up and I was like, hey, do you still manage, are you still the property manager over at Park Place? And she said, yeah. And I'm like, apartment 1237. Oh, that's the top floor. And I was like, is that the penthouse? And she said, yeah. And I went, okay. So I went back to talking to him, and he was like, so can you come over tonight? And I was like, sure. I mean, why not? What's the worst that could happen?
Right. Why not?
And so so I went down there, went up the elevator, got up to his apartment. It was indeed the penthouse, 5 bedrooms, little grassy area, outside with the high, and I'm okay. And so walked in, gave me a glass of wine too. I was like, okay, this is, and he looked really fucking hot.
I was going to say, did he look like his picture?
Oh yeah, he looked really hot. And so sat down, had a couple drinks, things started getting comfy, and I was like, I'm sitting here and I'm literally like, when is he gonna pull American Psycho and pull the fucking axe out?
line everything with plastic.
Yeah. You like Huey Lewis in the news? I was waiting for that moment. No, I don't. So I can get the fuck out. No, he starts getting a little touchy feeling. I'm like, okay, maybe this can work. I hear a noise in the back room.
You're not alone.
And what's that? Oh, don't worry about it. And I was like,
don't worry about it.
Don't worry. Okay.
Nothing. It's the wind.
So things are getting involved now. And so I naturally decided to start to go south of the border and start to work my magic. And so I was doing that. And then in the middle of the activity, okay, you can stop now. And I was like, okay, why? He got up, standing at full attention, and I heard him say, okay, Eric, come out. And the other guy walks out, goes over to the couch, bends over, and John Johnson fucks the shit out of him, and then I get another glass of wine, and I get told to leave.
So you were the fluffer.
I literally was the fluffer, so that some dude could fuck the shit out of his boyfriend, and he felt like a trans woman was the safest way to go because that's not somebody he would want to have sex with.
Oh.
Okay. Chalk this up to life experience.
Right.
And it's like he said, you can go now. And I was like, but no, you should go now. Get the fuck out. And I was like, but no, I said leave, or I'm calling the police. And I was like, okay, well, thank you. Sad part about it was I was wearing 4-inch stilettos, and I broke a heel. Leaving that, yeah. Well, fuck this or whatever. So that wasn't a church, which that experience sounds much worse, but I literally.
I mean, they weren't rude.
No, I'd be worried you'd be hearing banjos and shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, they didn't need the tarps or anything. They could have killed me, and they would have never found me with all that stuff in there. I'd be like those dead animals that they find in the hoarder's house. They'd start digging, and it's like, oh, there's another one.
I want to tell you something very important, Brandon, and I want you to remember this always, okay? And I'm going to try to do this in the sincerest tone that I can. Are you ready?
All right.
You sure do got a pretty mouth.
Oh yeah, Nick says I'm gonna get taxidermied. Yeah, my head's gonna end up, or my ass is gonna end up on the wall of the church.
Elaine, you can fuck right off. All right, now it's this one's turn.
I don't have any good stories. I was going to ask you though, Wendy, back before when you were talking, to what degree the Divine Comedy, like the Inferno, how that plays into.
I was going to wait for somebody to ask that. So, and I love this. So, Brandon, have you read the Divine Comedy?
No.
Okay, I have enough Italian linguistic to actually have read Dante's, and you know what those books are. There's 3 of them: Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso. A major portion of biblical lore around heaven and hell and everything else is fed by 2 larger bodies of text: Paradise Lost by Milton, I think Paradise Lost, that's Milton's, right? Anyway, and then Dante's Inferno. There's 9 levels of hell. This is where this suffering happens. This is where that suffering happens. Julie, I have a pattern matching skill. And because I pattern match things really well, I learn languages notoriously quickly. So if I tried really hard, for instance, I know fluent Muscovite Russian, I could probably go through and get Bulgarian, Romanian, Polish, and like a handful of the other Slavic influenced languages. Just because they're so similar to Russian, I could probably learn those. Ukrainian is really just like a dialect of Russian, for instance. That's like Southern dialect English. That's what Ukrainian is. But, anyway. So right. So, but to answer your question, yes, a larger body of the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th century writings that talk about iteratives of biblical explanation, they fed into that. Aquinas did it. Dante fed into it. And the interesting thing about, in Dante's case, the Romans wrapped their asses around it and loved it. And so for a while there, that's why Roman Catholics were, and actually, as it turns out, I think that's one of the reasons why the Greek Orthodox Church went one way and the Roman Catholics went the other, and that's why the Great Schism bullshit happened. Where they all said, the Greeks and the Romans said, "Fuck off, we're walking away," and then, that's a band that's never going to get back together. You could kind of hope Queen's going to get back together, but they're not because Freddie's dead. Guess what? The Greek Orthodox Church and the Roman Catholic Church, that band's never getting back together. That band's been broken up since 455 AD or whatever. If it hasn't happened now, it's not going to happen ever.
I was also going to ask you, so like you're talking about like the fact that Jewish tradition doesn't really have like an underworld. Did any ancient Mesopotamian societies really have that? Or like where did that even come from?
Oh, yeah. The Sumerian religious texts and religious iteratives, the Assyrians, they all had an underworld. And that their concept of the underworld was very almost Egyptian-like. So, there was a dude, Osiris, there was a god who ruled over the underworld, and you went there, and that's all there was to it. The Greeks actually, I look at the Greek mythos. The river Styx, and there's the Charon, and you get on the boat, and the boat takes you across, and that's where hell is, or Hades, in the case of the Greek. I mean, the Romans had that mythos too, and to carry those traditions forward into Judeo-Christian ethic, those societies wrapped those traditions around it in the same capacities, which is why Aquinas wrote the shit he wrote. And, all of the other ones did the same. It was just influenced by older traditions. Lawrence and I have talked about this. Iteratively, the Judaic, Jewish, there are shamanistic traditions that have occurred in that religion that preclude biblical writing. So, for instance, and this is, there's written documentation to prove this. For instance, early Judaics believed that Judaic priests could animate clay golems.
Oh, right.
Like they could bring a clay piece to life that was the size of a giant, and it would do what the Judaic priest would tell it to do. That tradition, very old. It's sort of like I hate to break it to everybody. Here's the thing I'm going to teach you. Biblical text-wise. I'm going to ask you a quiz question. So, because I know how Brandon's going to answer this, and I'm going to love to tell him he's wrong.
Oh, no.
Right. The first written book of the Bible, what is it?
Job.
Taking my steam away. Yes. It is widely accepted that the book of Job, it is not Genesis. The Genesis narrative, from the Tanakhian perspective, was not. Job was written, and here's the other thing, and here's why. People try to linearly read the Tanakh. Can't do that. Can't do it. You have the Bezrit, which is Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, the first 6 books. You read those. Then you skip ahead and you read all of the independent prophet texts. Zechariah, Isaiah, and Amos. And then you read the the iterative, so Kings, and Colossians, like those books. But you can't read them contiguously. And so a very popular misconception that Christians make when they approach the text is they try to read it linearly and expect it to work, and it doesn't. It's stupid. You can't do that. I mean, when you read from a Tanakh and you learn from the Torah text, you have to go here and then go over here and then go here and then go here and then go here. You have to jump around to get the continuity of the text itself. Christians don't understand that. They just assert that if you follow the liturgy or whatever, it'll make sense. Because Christian ministers and pastors are trained. I can tell you that's bullshit. I'm not going to tell you why, but I can tell you that it's bullshit. That the liturgy is enough to explain the chronological event in the text, and you can't. Every time someone does that, and I'm like, oh, what's the liturgy of your church? And they're like, it's like this. And I'm like, did you pay attention in, chronology 118 or whatever? You're reading this before that before this before that. That's way the fuck out of order. You can't do that. You're going to just usurp the whole, the whole delineation and understanding of the text as a whole. And so, yeah, so to answer your question, yes, external texts have influenced biblical expression. Right? When you're talking about the M source and the Q source and the L source, those are all the Dead Sea Scroll reference text, the Urasaba, the MFO. All of those texts are not chronological texts. They were just translated, and then during the Council of Nicaea, Constantine's people said it needs to be this, and that's what they made it. So you can't, but Christians don't question these things. They don't understand the base language. They don't understand the linguistic changes. All they see is man shall not lie with man as he lies with woman. He is an abomination. He should be put to death. That's bullshit. Because when you read the Old Tanakhian text, the actual word is boy. But you can't tell a Christian that because they don't believe that that's true.
People believe what they want to believe.
Exactly. Yeah. It's
whatever is in line with what their preconceived judgmental or notions already.
Yeah. And I will tell you, that is one of the reasons why I have a larger problem with the lay ministry. Because you understand what a lay person is, right? Yeah. A person taught by the pastor. If the pastor's not doing it right, lay priests can't do it right either.
Yeah.
They just can't. So, next question.
Back in early 2000s, or maybe it was like closer to 2010, didn't they discovered new texts? They were like almost mistranslated on purpose, I think, and people like they were translated, I think, in a way at the time that seemed to like sort of settle the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Like it was a specific, like National Geographic supported it. And then when actual scholars got their hands on it, like they found like a lot of, like within like translating those works, like there's known things that you accept to be like the way certain words are translated over and over. And that specific group like kind of went against, but by the time like other scholars got their hands on it to kind of like re-explain, the narrative got out. And I don't know, I mean, to what degree are ancient texts mistranslated to support things that aren't? Because a lot of those non-canonized works, like they're not always, they don't always support the narrative.
So here's a thing about that specifics. So Amber, you're going to bring this up. I'm already going to go there. So remember,
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, the
yeah.
Book of
So
Judah.
you have the base text, and then you have all of the apocryphal and Gnostic texts that exist outside of it. So there's, and I want to be very clear when I say this. So I'm going to tell you about these things. I want you to understand that that's just the title that those texts were given. It's not that that person was the progenitor. So there's a Gospel of Mary, and there's two Gospels of Thomas. There's a Gospel of Judas. There's a Gospel of Peter. There's the Book of Enoch. There's two of those. And so here's the thing. Scholars sit over the original fragments of all of the text, and they are constantly over and over and over and over and over and over again, translating and retranslating, translating and retranslating over and over and over. So when scholarship agrees that a linguistics change must happen, they all have to agree. So that's why there's an NIV, and there's a UNIV, and there's a KJV, and an NJKV. So every iteration of translation of the Bible that exists, a large portion of that is because the body of scholarship agree that there needs to be a change. For example, and I hate to use this, but there's no other way. There's no other way to explain it. In 46, they put the word homosexual in the Bible. Now, they didn't put the word homosexuality in the Bible. They put the word homosexual in the Bible. So here's another thing I'm going to teach you. In the age of antiquity, in ancient times, did same-sex activities happen? Yes. Were there same-sex attracted people? Yes. Was there biblical narrative against same-sex activities? No, there wasn't. It happened. They did things. Nobody gave a shit. And it wasn't until 46 that they put the word homosexual in the Bible. And so what Christians attach to that is that means it's wrong. No. It went into the Bible because the scholarship agreed that it was necessary to explain that same-sex attracting individuals and same-sex activities happened. There is never an implied, it's evil, there's a law against it, kill anyone. And so, thus the elevation of the Levitican passage, man lying with man, whatever, blah, blah, blah. The change in 46 happened because of that. Before that, no. Wasn't even really talked about. I mean, no one really cared about it. It wasn't really, but again, homosexuals went into the Bible, so the term homosexual, to define that person, not homosexuality to say it is wrong and it is evil and it is whatever else. It was a descriptor, not not a profoundly negative connotated word to attract attention to the fact that it was bad. Because again, in the time of antiquity, nobody gave a shit. Look, I mean, nobody gave a shit in a way that was, if you got raped, your rapist had to marry you and pay your father 30 shekels of silver. 33 shekels or whatever, but regardless. So, yeah. So from a linguistics perspective, there's constant translation over and over and over again. Those texts are constantly retranslated over and over again. I'll give you a piece of pop culture. You ever watch a movie where they talk about the war in heaven between angels and demons? Viggo
Well, not
Viggo Mortensen did this great movie with Christopher Walken called Prophecy from the 90s. Great film. But that whole film is about angels and demons fighting with each other. Every time you watch a story about that, every time you see a story about that, that is entirely predicated by the book of Enoch, because Enoch has some fever pitch dream where he's fucked up, drank too much wine, did what the fuck ever, I don't know, and he got woken up by an angel, and an angel told him, oh, by the way, demons and angels are fighting it out with each other, and here's why. Now, no Christian in their right mind would ever read the book of Enoch because it is an extra biblical text that's not included in the original text. You tell a Christian to read that, they're like, oh, well, this is all a lie.
Blasphemy.
No, don't do that. That's a horrible idea. You can't say that. So, right, yeah, dog. So, yeah, it's fucked up. You can't make that assumption. And so, do I have hope that one day they'll include, the letters of Baruch? Which, by the way, are beautifully written. It's a beautiful text. The Baruchian texts are actually very poetic, and they're attractive and they're beautiful. They'll never be included in the Bible, though, because they're dogmatically incorrect and they're problematic. But, do I have hope that... yes, will it happen? No, because in 100 years, aliens will show up, and then religion will be completely invalid. Because the aliens will show up and say, "Look, you motherfuckers, you got it wrong. You don't live on a goddamn island. We live like 800 light years away, and we've just been watching you shitheads
mess everything up." We've been up here laughing.
Yeah.
I love this. This is what I hope happens. I will be long gone by the time this happens. Back in the 80s, there was a show called Amazing Stories, which was an 80s, like, Twilight Zone-y kind of show.
I think I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, it was either Amazing Stories or it was the Twilight Zone, the 80s Twilight Zone show. But anyway, it was one of those. But anyway, so aliens show up. And the aliens say, you have 1 week to do what we instructed you to do. And the world population is like, oh my God, we have to find peace. And so for the rest of the episode, like, the humans are vigorously working trees to make peace with each other and be happy. And then they get to the end of the episode and the aliens come back and they go, here, we finally made world peace with each other. And the alien looks at them and says, no, you motherfuckers, I wanted you to kill each other until one of you was left. That's what I want to happen. I want the aliens to come and say, you fucked up. This is not how it's supposed to go. You know what the fuck you're doing. And then, yeah, when that happens, the church will disappear.
I think I would rather be used as like fluffers for the aliens, so then they can kick me out when I've got heels on and they'll go back to fucking somebody else in the ass.
Yes.
That is by far not my worst. You think I'm going to let the worst one out of the bag? No. Brandon's got to tell his worst one before I tell my worst.
I have one other one that's, similar, but I'll save that for another time.
Yeah, right. Gay talk on Wendy the Druid.
Yeah.
Gay talk on Wendy the Druid. Because not enough queer... this is the thing. I hate to say this, Brandon, but you need to write a story about that because... And here's why. Queer history will disappear and nobody will know. Do I think 60 years from now people are going to know about any of the shit that I wrote? Fuck no. Oh, right, Amber. Peace Among Worlds. Yes, I'm a Rick and Morty fan. I understand why that's funny. Although it's funny, Amber, I will tell you, I watched that episode like 4 or 5 times before I realized that Zeet Blandthorpe, who the character in that episode of Rick and Morty. I didn't realize that was Stephen Colbert. Which, by the way, fuck CBS for firing him and bending over for Trump. So anyway, Erin, do you have anything else?
No, I don't think so.
I'll let you have the last word, Brandon. Are you writing anything this week?
Always. I'm working on a one about music right now, actually.
Ooh.
Kind of a Gen X music article.
Ooh.
Possibly going to be collaborating with someone else. Maybe, we'll see.
Possible collaboration with somebody.
Yes.
Okay. Is this somebody we know?
I don't think so. I don't think I've seen her in here before. Not that I can remember, but yeah, I'll have to tell her to pop in.
Well, I've never asked you guys, so I'm going to ask you guys. Favorite band? I'm not going to ask you the Gen X question. So, who's your favorite musical artist?
Green Day.
Really?
I wasn't expecting that.
I like to be unexpected.
I've seen Green Day live 3 times.
Well, I hate you.
So I've said this. If I future forward, everyone will know. Millicent, I've seen Elvis Costello twice. There is a very low chance. We need to have like the Oracle of Wendy or whatever. Like somebody's favorite band is somebody else's favorite band of a band that I've seen however many number of times. But I guarantee you, if you're throwing a band out that's been around in the last 15 years, odds are I've seen them live. Amber, Enya. I've seen Enya live twice and once at Red Rocks.
Wow.
So, Erin.
Sinead O'Connor.
Oh yeah, well, I've already told you that story.
Sorry.
Not only have I seen her, I've seen her twice, and one of those times I had backstage passes and I got to stand next to her, and it was cool. And she was like really like intelligent or whatever, and kind of cool and hangouty. Although I will tell you of the female singers that I've seen, she wasn't my favorite. My favorite would have been like a female singer. Oh, Joan Jett.
Sure. Yeah.
I've seen Joan Jett twice. That show was viscerally hair standing up on the arms. Good. So
cool. How about you then? Do you have a favorite?
Oh, my favorite? Oh gosh.
She's gonna name more than one.
That's like a list of 5.
Yeah, I can already tell by your expressions. Like, oh, this isn't gonna be just. She can't answer this simply.
Like, I'll tell you my 5 go-tos. Like my 5 go-tos. If it's indie rock, Band of Horses. If it's new wave of heavy metal, Iron Maiden. If it's classic rock, this is gonna I'm not gonna be popular for this, but if it's like deep root classic rock, it's a toss up between CCR and CSNY. Do you know who that is?
Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Yeah, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Oh.
It's like a toss up between those two. And then my favorite blues artist is Stevie Ray Vaughan. There's no question about that. And my favorite jazz artist is always going to be John Coltrane. And then like my favorite, like new, like in the last 25 years. If I say this, people are going to judge the shit out of me. I don't really care, but I'll probably get called some weird name for saying this, but 21 Pilots.
Oh, I love them.
Whenever I tell people I like that band, they look at me and they're like, how old are you? And I'm like, 53. And they're like, are you like 30 years too old to be a fan of them? And I'm like,
there's no age limit on what kind of music you like. That's ridiculous. I like a lot of newer artists. One Republic is one of my, they're very high up there. Green Day, One Republic, 21 Pilots is probably in my top 5 too.
Yeah. I will also tell you the 2 worst concerts I've ever been to. If you want to hear that, because you'll laugh about them.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
The worst concert I've ever been to was the Grateful Dead.
Ooh, that's a hot take. That's fine though.
Yeah. Well, here was the thing. One, I spent that whole show way too fucking high. And then I may have been under the influence of a hallucinatory experience, which made it even worse.
Well, you can't blame the band for that.
But
you just did.
Here's the thing. All of the weed and other illicit substances made the music suck so bad I couldn't stand it. And I remember, like, I walked back out into the courtyard area or whatever, and there was a guy who was standing next to this tree who was beckoning people over. And I walked over, and he was like, hey, man, you want some fruit out of the tree, man? Get some fruit. And I looked up, and I shit you not, there were like 9 girls who were all naked in the tree. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, man, get some of the fruit. Bring the fruit down for us. Can you bring the fruit down for us, man? And I was like, oh, man, I don't know. I'm not that strong. I'm going to need some help. And so, and then after that, like the second worst show that I've ever been to, and this is really funny, was Tupac Shakur. And the reason for that was I was in college, and my college roommate Bubba, if you read my biography, you'll know all about Bubba. Loved him to death. He was like one of the first like black people I'd ever had contact with. And so like we worked some stuff out my first year in college. And so halfway through, Freaknik happens in Atlanta. So Freaknik is the black college version of spring break. And back in the late 80s and early 90s, they would take over the city of Atlanta. And so here was the thing, like Bubba and his brother wanted to take me into Freaknik with them or whatever. And so we went into West Atlanta, which is not the safe area of town, by the way, and to see these shows. And I walked into a Tupac Shakur concert with my roommate Bubba, his brother, and 2 of his black friends. And this was like 91, 92. I shit you not. I literally was the only white person in a sea of black people. And all of the black people were looking at my roommate going, why the fuck you bringing a white boy into the show? And I felt like I was going to get killed. Like I was going to get shot right there. And so, well, here was what was funny was like halfway through the show, all the brothers were like, oh, he's cool. He can hang out with us. And after that show, I went home with a female person of color, and that bucket list item got knocked off though.
And you never went back.
Oh no, I went back. That was not
yeah.
a pleasant. That was not a pleasant experience.
Didn't happen. Didn't happen.
No. Well, no. Oh, it happened. Oh no, it happened. All right. It was
No,
not,
I mean yeah.
it was not. No, no. But that was the person, not not the fact that they were a POC. It was the person or whatever. So very unpleasant experience. So anyway, yeah. And so those are the two worst shows I've ever been to. Every other show that I've ever been to, there are reasons why they were unenjoyable, but they weren't that bad. So there
The
you go.
Grateful Dead show, were you on mushrooms or acid or what hallucinogen were you on, if you remember?
Oh, I remember.
Okay.
Oh, I remember all right. I had literally smoked 2 joints of Maui Wowie, professed Maui Wowie, which is one hit wonder. So I'd been through 2 joints of that, and then a sheet and a half. So yeah, right. Which was funny because security, I can't remember. It was that show or I saw Floyd's last big concert, which in Atlanta was, yeah, Millicent, I have no fucking idea. Oh no, that was another concert story for you. One of the best Pink Floyd shows I've ever seen was the Delicate Sound of Thunder concert tour when I was a kid, and then the Grant Park here in Atlanta, the Grant Park show. And I went to the Grant Park show, and that was awesome. Here was a problem. I was like 4th row, center right, near the front. And this girl, like 3 rows up, with the largest set of boobs I had, at that point, had ever seen in my life. I mean, stripper porn star had to be. Anyway, starts taking her clothes off and dancing. And Gilmore was up there and they were playing they were playing One Slip. Which, by the way, that's my favorite Floyd song of all time. And so her clothes all disappear. So security runs down to grab her and yank her out to get down there. And she turns around and she has an entire sheet in her hand. She crumples it up, shoves it in her mouth, and swallows it. And I literally went, somebody's going to the hospital soon. And so they tried to drag her out. Well, get this. They must have hit her. They must have hit her quickly because they got her out into the aisle and then she fell face first, like flat down onto the pavement.
Wouldn't it be boobs first?
Yeah. And her big boobs caught the right. And so it took 5 security guys to get her. Like they all 5 of them all picked her up and walked her out or whatever. And so
How big was she that it required 5 dudes?
Right.
She couldn't have been that big, but
no. So yeah, that in the way of those. Now I will say that I may have, for the Pink Floyd show, I may have had some MDMA that night, which made for a very pleasant experience. I'll just say that. So, yeah, for as many bad dating experiences as I can talk about, I can tell you about concerts and the weird shit that has happened. My favorite one is still, I went to a Cure concert wearing a Judas Priest t-shirt and all their fans hated me. You're at the wrong fucking show. What business is it of yours? I want to listen to the goddamn music. You have long hair. You're the wrong fucking. You're not emo. I don't get shit. South Park, fuck the conformist. Down with the conformist. Who gives a shit about the conformist? I'm not conforming to your weird non-conforming standards. Fuck you. Julie, yeah, like probably. Like if I had to guess. It looked like she had some work done. Anyway. Okay. Well, if neither of you have anything else.
I mean, I think that's enough.
Yeah, right. I mean, by the way, I found another video for you, Brandon.
Oh, good. I was so hoping you'd find
My
something
YouTube
else.
channel. That one it's either that one or the telling my the one where the story where I told about my brother and the 150-foot wall of fire. I think she was in that story. That YouTube short got like 5,000 views. Erin is my most requested and most hittable. Like I get the most hits when Erin shows up into the live. So
now, don't you feel special?
yeah. I mean, I was gonna make when we hit 69 viewers, I was gonna make the 69 joke, but I decided not to do it. You know what stops a good 69, right?
A fart?
A period.
Oh.
What? I didn't hear that.
A period.
I mean, Brandon wouldn't power through that.
I was just gonna say that would stop it for me.
Sure.
Would you even go there? Would you? How much? Well,
gosh.
Ethics, Brandon. And
I mean,
hold on.
I like money.
So hold on. Here's the thing. I'll tell this maybe in tomorrow's live. That'll be a college story, and you'll love it. But ethics. So would you do it for $5,000?
5,000.
Yeah. Let's set this up. $5,000. You just have to do the act. It's not somebody you know. There's no consequences. There's no disease. You just have to literally accept the fact that you are doing that one act for money.
Just the one time. 5,000.
5,000.
I am a little short on cash right now.
Say no. Just say no.
No.
Would you do it for 20,000?
Yes, I think so.
So you have a price.
Oh yeah, everybody's got a price.
Wait, Aaron, oh, never mind. I already know the answer.
I would do it for free.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask her the other way. No.
Oh yeah.
If I would be that person having sex with a gay man?
Yes.
No. Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes. Would you find yourself in how much money would it take for you to find yourself in a sexually displeasing?
I mean, in that particular case, I would feel so bad for the guy that I would just be like, whatever you got to do to get this over. And I mean, it's obviously not their proudest moment either.
Wow. Okay. Gosh.
Well, how nice of you.
Yeah. Okay. I love you both. All right, because my iPad's about to die now. Aaron, Thank you, as always.
Good to see you, Brandon. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, nice to see you, Erin.
Okay, bye-bye, Aaron. Brandon,
Yes.
I'm going to send you an invite for Tuesday.
Tuesday, yes. Well,
Oh, he cut out. Brandon, just send me a Discord or whatever. Look, Eileen, I totally respect your practical comments. Gosh, okay. Well, so with that, wow, thank you, everybody. We almost broke 150 viewers tonight. That's amazing. So if you're new here, please subscribe. We're a family here. We have fun. The live sessions at night are informative and social gathering experiences. Please continue to watch us. Like I said, we have a blast. And so with that, I will tell all of you, get into a safe space and stay safe. I can't do this without you guys. We can't do this without each other. That's the only way we get through this horrible nightmare of a dystopia that we're stuck in. And so, if you're a free subscriber and you decide to become a paid sub, thank you. There are benefits to being a paid sub. You actually get my contact information and you're allowed to interact with me. I'm not sure why you would want to do that, because all I'm going to tell you is not to read my shit because it's boring and dull. But, nature being what it is. So if you consider becoming a paid sub, thank you. But stay safe out there. Don't put yourself in harm's way. Take care of each other. And if you're in trouble, reach out to us. We have a whole network of people we can do things. And with that, I will tell all of you good night. Thank you, and I love you all.